Portage County, Ohio. The first week of March 2026. 6 people walk into the woods over 4 days. 6 people come back with the same story. They don't know each other. They weren't together. But every single one of them describes the same thing. Something massive standing upright, watching from the trees. This is the story of what happened in those woods. The witnesses, the evidence, and the silence. That strange, total silence that came before each encounter. Cryptozoologists have a word for this. They call it a flap. Multiple sightings, tight geography, compressed time frame. It's rare. And when it happens, it means something's moving. What was stirring in those woods that week? And why did the forest itself seem to know something was coming? Let's start with the first witness. Thursday, March 6th, 12:23 in the afternoon. A researcher alone in the woods near Mantua Center. He saw it from about 120 yards away. A brown figure, standing upright, 9 feet tall. Just standing there at the edge of a clearing, as still as the trees around it. The researcher watched for several seconds. Then the figure turned its head. It realized it was being observed, and in an instant, it moved, fast, impossibly fast, into the trees. Portage County sits in the northeast corner of Ohio, farm country giving way to forest, ravines and creek beds cutting through the hills, the kind of terrain where something large could move and never be seen. This area has history, strange sightings going back decades, but nothing like the concentration of reports that started that Thursday. Between March 6th and March 10th, 6 separate Bigfoot reports were filed with the Bigfoot Society, all from the woods near Mantua and Garrettsville, all within a few miles of each other. 6 witnesses, 6 independent accounts. And here's what makes it strange. They didn't know each other. They weren't looking for Bigfoot. Most of them were just out for a walk. The descriptions were remarkably consistent, heights ranging from 6 to 10 feet. Some brown, some black, long arms, heavy builds, moving with a gait that was almost deliberate. But it wasn't just what they saw. It was what they heard, or rather, what they stopped hearing. Multiple witnesses described the same phenomenon. They called it forest hush, the sudden total silence of all wildlife. Birds stopping mid-song, insects going quiet. Even the wind seemed to die. One witness, Dylan Obney, heard it first. Heavy footsteps, rhythmic, like something large walking through the brush. Then a sound he'll never forget, a deep, vibrating grunt, and then silence, total silence. The forest went quiet. Dylan stopped breathing. He was listening so hard his ears hurt. Nothing, not a bird, not a squirrel. Nothing. Then he saw it. About 30 yards away, 8 feet tall, covered in dark brown hair, long arms hanging past its knees, standing there, looking right at him. Dylan didn't run. He couldn't. His legs wouldn't move. He just stood there, frozen, as the creature held his gaze for what felt like minutes. Then it turned and walked into the brush, not running, walking. Casual almost, like it had made its assessment and decided Dylan wasn't a threat. Dylan made it back to his car. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely get the key in the ignition. He filed his report that night. He wasn't the only one. March 9th, 10:20 in the morning. A hiker near Garrettsville encountered a tall, black-furred figure. It watched her for several seconds, then vanished into dense brush. Same height estimates, same build, different color. Brown in some sightings, black in others. Researchers started asking, were they seeing the same creature, or more than one? The Bigfoot Society began to speculate. Multiple creatures, possibly a family group, maybe even a migration pattern running through Portage County. A family group would explain the size variations, 6 feet to 10 feet. Adults, juveniles, maybe even an elder, moving together through familiar territory. The Bigfoot Society called it unusual to have multiple sightings in a small area within a short number of days. They'd seen clusters before, but not like this, not this concentrated. Flaps are rare events in cryptozoology. They suggest something has changed in the environment, a disruption, food scarcity, weather patterns shifting, something forcing creatures out of deeper hiding. What changed in Portage County that first week of March? Construction projects pushing into forest edges, an unusually warm February thaw, new development clearing old growth. The theories multiply, but the witnesses don't care about theories. They care about what they saw, what they smelled, that musky, organic odor that hung in the air where the creatures had been. Investigators found physical evidence at one location, oversized footprints in the mud, fresh, deep enough to suggest considerable weight pressing into the soil. Casts were taken. Photographs documented. The prints showed dermal ridges, the same kind of detail that appears in human fingerprints. Hard to fake, harder to explain. Here's where it gets complicated. The Portage County Sheriff's Office checked their records. March 6th and 7th. No official reports mentioning Sasquatch, nothing on file. That gap raises questions. Did witnesses file reports only with cryptozoology groups? Did they fear ridicule from authorities? Or is something else going on? Skeptics pounced on the gap. No official record means no official investigation. It means the only documentation exists outside standard channels, in the hands of believers. But supporters point to something else. 6 witnesses, 6 people who'd never met, describing the same creature with the same characteristics, independently. How do you coordinate that kind of consistency? The forest hush, the musky odor, the long arms, the height estimates, the way it moved. Detail after detail lining up across accounts from strangers. And then there's the AI problem. In 2026, anyone can generate a convincing video. Anyone can fake a photograph. The tools are free and frighteningly good. That cuts both ways. It makes hoaxes easier to produce. But it also makes genuine accounts harder to believe. Every real witness now has to fight against an ocean of manufactured content. The Bigfoot Society acknowledged this challenge. They emphasized witness credibility, background checks, consistency tests, follow-up interviews, the old methods, pre-digital verification. The witnesses in Portage County passed those tests. Consistent timelines, consistent descriptions. No evidence of coordination, no financial motive. Just regular people who happened to see something in the woods. Regular people who are now living with something they can't explain, something that follows them into sleep, into quiet moments, into the woods they used to walk without a second thought. Dylan Obney doesn't hike alone anymore. He carries a camera now, and pepper spray. Not that he thinks it would help. Just something to hold. If you're hiking in Portage County, or any remote woodland, there are some things worth considering. Not because of Bigfoot specifically, but because paying attention to your environment is always smart. Learn to recognize forest hush. That sudden drop in wildlife noise, it might mean a large predator is nearby. Bear, mountain lion, something you want to know about. Pay attention when the birds go quiet. Consider carrying a camera with you, but set realistic expectations. Most wildlife encounters happen fast. You might not get a photo, but the act of documenting can help you process what you've seen. If you see something unexplained, report it to established research organizations rather than just posting on social media. Groups like the Bigfoot Society take witness accounts seriously and maintain proper documentation. If you find tracks or other physical evidence, consider photographing them with a scale reference, a coin, a ruler, your hand, before touching anything. Documentation matters. The Portage County flap remains unexplained. 6 witnesses, 4 days, one small corner of Ohio. Whatever moved through those woods that week, it hasn't been identified. The witnesses went back to their lives, but the woods are still there. The same trails, the same clearings, the same places where something looked back. If you find stories like this one interesting, The strange, the unexplained, the things that happen in the spaces between streetlights. Hit subscribe. We put out new episodes every week. In cryptozoology, a flap is significant. It suggests pattern, movement, behavior that can be tracked. What the Portage County witnesses reported wasn't random. It was concentrated. Deliberate almost. Something passed through those woods in early March. 6 people were unlucky enough, or lucky enough to see it, and now they carry that knowledge with them. Always. Was it one creature? Multiple? A family group passing through? We don't know. The forest keeps its secrets. It always has. The witnesses didn't ask for this. They weren't believers or seekers. They were just people, in the woods at the wrong time. Or maybe the right time. The Portage County Flap of 2026. 6 sightings. 4 days. One question that nobody can answer. What's out there in those Ohio woods? Maybe we're not meant to know. Maybe some places hold things we're not supposed to see. And maybe that's exactly why we keep looking. I'm your host. Thanks for listening to Night Shift Stories. Stay curious, stay safe, and maybe stay out of the woods.